Thank everyone for being here today, tuning in today. I have Dr. Kelly with me. All of you know Dr. David Kelly. He's our high school principal. We have Dr. Jared Webster, who's our secondary executive director, and they're with me, and we're going to talk about one thing that's kind of a beginning of the year hot topic that's a change for us. Dr. Kelly, last year we had some changes in our cell phone policy at the high school, and parents, you supported us, the students did well. Well, there's another change this year, so could you guys talk to me about that change? What's changed with cell phones at Nixa High this year?
So obviously last year we did make a change to really just focus on not having them out during instructional time, and so we had the phone holders in the class, and the goal really was not to see them during class time. After that, we allowed them at lunch, we allowed them during passing period, and then this year the state legislature passed a bill, Senate Bill 68, and part of Senate Bill 68 was that it's a complete cell phone ban. So, and they specifically even outlined in the law lunchtime, passing periods, and so that was the big change. And so what we are doing now is there's no cell phones. So we've put out some information. We have a frequently asked questions page on the website. We put out a video. The first day of school, our student council did a video, so it was just students sharing the news about the new law. And so I've made announcements each morning just telling students, hey, at this time please put your cell phone away in a secure location where it can remain for the rest of the day. And we've been very fortunate. Our students have been very responsive to it, and I think overall it's been a positive change at the high school.
And last year, the feedback was that the students were a lot more present and engaged, and I think you're already seeing some changes this year.
So the biggest thing that we notice is the volume at lunch. It's louder, and that's okay because kids are socializing, kids are talking to one another, and it's honestly good to see. In the classrooms, teachers are saying that students are engaged. Even last year, we'd have some students periodically check their phone or try to check their phone, and we just haven't had much of that this year. And so the key for us will just be keeping that expectation high and ensuring that when issues arise that we're enforcing them quickly and addressing them quickly, so that by the end of the year it doesn't get a little more loose at the end of the year.
Let me ask you this, as far as what we would deem instructional purposes, if there's an instructional need, can a teacher have the students to use the phones?
Yeah, that is specifically listed in the law for instructional purposes deemed by the teacher. So a great example of that is Craig Finger, our marching band director. There's an app that all those students use, and it's on their phone, and what it does is it shows them exactly where they're at on the field. So while they're practicing, it's tracking them, and then when they go home, they can actually watch a video of where they are compared to where they're supposed to be. They can make adjustments, so it's a great tool for those students, and so that's a really good example of an instructional use.
So if a student, or if you want your students to be organized, or you're training them how to be organized, and like the tools, you can have them at the end to write all their assignments down so they have them down or whatever? Yeah,
if a teacher wanted to utilize it that way. We have several students with modifications that actually list that they have to use their phone in order to keep track of their assignments. So yes, those would all be examples of instructional use.
So the basic gist is you don't have your phones on you, out, they need to be powered off, put away. And if a teacher says for instructional purposes, I need for you to use this, they can.
Yeah, and you'll see one thing that has become commonplace, and I think it's a society thing. I don't think it's just a high school kid thing. But if I'm doing work in my office, a lot of times I'll just have soft music playing. And so what you'll see in some classrooms is during independent work, teachers will allow them to listen to music. In those situations, we are encouraging them to use the Chromebook. But you'll see headphones in those situations, but it's really during that independent practice when kids are really focused on a specific task.
Then one last area, I know it seems like everyone in the world has some type of smartwatch. I know most people have an Apple, but there's a variety of types. How do smartwatches play into this?
You know, when we look at smartwatches, I think the concern with the smartwatch is you have your Apple Watch. It's pretty obviously a smartwatch, but then you also have a lot of watches out there. Your Fossil makes smartwatches, Fitbits, all that kind of stuff. They're a little tough to tell. So we really have just kind of said, if you're using it as a timepiece, it's a timepiece. If you're using it as a smartwatch and it's obvious it's a smartwatch and you violated the policy and it's addressed. But, I think that's even one of those things. I know high school dealing with that, but I think you even see that more younger grades because parents are more prone to buy a smartwatch for their kid for emergency purposes than even just a cell phone they would at high school. So that's a great question, and somebody says, I would need my kid to have it because they're walking back and forth from school or whatever. At the end of the day, you can't have a smartwatch in the building, and don't use it like a smartwatch.
And we do have some kids that have medical needs where they'll have a monitoring device, may not be a watch, but other things. But with smartwatches, and what I'm hearing you say, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I have my phone powered down, the smartwatch is not a smartwatch. It's just basically a watch. But if I have my phone on and it has internet service, or if I have an internet plan on my phone and I'm using it besides just looking at it for time, trying to research or whatever, that's when they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
think
right.
that'd be very informative. So parents, if you bought an Apple Watch or another tool, if they're using it to check their time, no big deal. But if they're using it for anything else, then it crosses the line. Well, I know this is new, and I've had people ask questions about it. It's new for all of us, and I think the intent is very good. If you look at our society today, places that you normally would have conversations, you see people constantly on their devices. So hopefully this will help our children to be present and be able to connect with their peers, and we'll see how it goes. But right now, it's off to a great start.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
Thanks for being with us
Change.
today.
Thank you.